You've probably heard the term polar vortex tossed around in news reports or weather updates, especially when winter gets particularly harsh. It's one of those phrases that pops up every year, sparking curiosity and sometimes a bit of worry. But what is it really? Is it a new weather phenomenon, or something that's always been there, quietly influencing our winters? Imagine a massive spinning top of icy air, swirling high above the North Pole. This isn't just a passing storm, it's a permanent, natural feature of our planet's climate system, always present but changing in strength and shape with the seasons. The polar vortex is at its strongest in winter, when the Arctic is plunged into months of darkness and extreme cold. During this time, the cold air becomes denser and the vortex tightens its grip over the pole. Surrounding this icy whirlpool is a powerful jet stream, a fast-moving river of air that acts like a high-altitude fence, keeping the coldest air locked up far to the north and away from milder regions. As long as the vortex spins steadily and the jet stream holds firm, we're mostly shielded from the worst of the Arctic chill. Our winters might be cold, but they're usually manageable. But sometimes, dramatic events occur high in the stratosphere, like sudden warming episodes, that disrupt this delicate balance. These events can weaken or even split the polar vortex, sending it wobbling off course. When that happens, the jet stream buckles and twists, creating pathways for frigid Arctic air to escape and surge southward into regions that are usually much milder. This cold air can spill out of the Arctic and sweep across North America, Asia, or Europe, including right here in the UK, bringing sudden snowstorms, icy roads, and a dramatic drop in temperatures. That's when the polar vortex stops being just a distant scientific concept and starts shaping our everyday lives, affecting our weather, the wildlife we see, and even our daily routines as we bundle up and adapt to the cold. Understanding the polar vortex isn't just for weather experts. It's key to making sense of our most extreme winter weather, helping us prepare for whatever the season might bring. So, what does a disrupted polar vortex mean for the UK? Normally, our winters are mild thanks to the Atlantic and Gulf Stream, but when the vortex wobbles, the jet stream shifts, and cold air from the Arctic or Siberia can flood in. This brings a dry, biting cold, very different from our usual damp chill. Temperatures can plunge far below normal, and the cold air passing over the North Sea can turn moisture into snow, even in southern England. These events, often triggered by sudden stratospheric warming, can bring widespread, disruptive snowfall. The altered jet stream can also trap weather patterns, leading to prolonged cold or heavy snow. High pressure can lock in a deep freeze, while low pressure can bring persistent rain or snow. The polar vortex isn't a storm, it's the hidden force pulling the strings of our winter weather. When it falters, the UK can experience some of its most memorable cold snaps. Right now, in mid-November 2025, we're seeing a classic polar vortex disruption. A warming event over Siberia has shoved the vortex off balance, stretching it towards Scandinavia. This has transformed the jet stream, allowing high pressure to build over Greenland and the North Atlantic. A blocking high. That high acts like a boulder, diverting mild Atlantic winds and drawing Arctic air straight to the UK. The result? November has turned unusually dry and cold, with widespread frosts and daytime highs barely above single digits. This isn't your average autumn chill. It's the leading edge of a much larger, colder air mass. Forecasts agree, the blocking high will strengthen, keeping the cold air flowing for at least another week. The risk of significant snowfall is rising, especially for eastern and northern regions. The North Sea could fuel heavy snow showers along the east coast, a classic sea effect event. The polar vortex is making its presence felt, and winter is arriving early. Let's take a closer look at the data as of November 12, 2025. Across the UK, the weather has taken a dramatic turn, and the numbers are telling quite a story. This isn't just a chilly spell, it's a significant shift that's catching the attention of meteorologists and everyday people alike. In the Scottish Highlands, temperatures plunged to -8 degrees Celsius this morning. That's not just a little cold, it's the kind of deep freeze we'd expect in the heart of winter, not in the middle of autumn. The landscape is blanketed in frost, and the air feels biting, with scenes more reminiscent of January than November. Even in southern England, where winters are usually milder, the mercury dropped to -4. That's several degrees below the seasonal average, and it's left fields, cars, and rooftops shimmering with a thick layer of frost. Early risers are waking up to scenes that look more like a postcard from Scandinavia than the English countryside. The Met Office has responded by issuing ice warnings for northern regions. With freezing nights becoming the norm, roads and pavements are turning dangerously slick. Drivers and pedestrians alike are being urged to take extra care, as black ice and sudden frost patches make travel hazardous. What's causing this cold snap? A strong area of high pressure sitting just west of Ireland is the main culprit. This system is steering cold Arctic air directly across the UK, creating a persistent chill that's hard to escape. The weather maps show a clear flow from the north, and it's bringing a taste of the Arctic right to our doorsteps. Most of us are feeling the effects firsthand, a relentless, chilly northeasterly breeze that cuts through layers of clothing. It's not just the temperature, it's the wind chill that makes it feel even colder, prompting people to bundle up in scarves, hats, and heavy coats as they go about their day. While rainfall has been well below average for this time of year, radar images now show showers developing over the North Sea. These are no ordinary showers. They're bringing sleet and snow to coastal areas, creating slippery conditions and a wintry mix that's unusual for November. This phenomenon, known as sea effect snow, happens when cold Arctic air sweeps over the relatively warmer waters of the North Sea. The result: bands of snow that can quickly blanket coastal towns, sometimes catching residents off guard with sudden bursts of wintry weather. The impact isn't just on travel and daily routines. The ground is drying out and starting to freeze solid, which poses a real threat to crops and plants. Farmers are already reporting frost damage, and gardeners are scrambling to protect delicate plants from the sudden cold. Everywhere you look, there are signs of the Arctic air's arrival. Lawns are coated in sparkling frost, people are scraping thick ice from their car windshields, and neighborhoods are waking up to a world transformed by the cold. It's a clear signal that winter has arrived early this year, and it's changing daily life across the country. The numbers don't lie. The polar vortex is exerting its influence and shaping our weather right now. As we watch these changes unfold, it's a stark reminder of how quickly conditions can shift, and how closely our lives are tied to the rhythms of the atmosphere. Let's bring the polar vortex to life with some real-world examples. The polar vortex isn't just a scientific term, it's a force of nature that can dramatically reshape our daily lives, often with little warning. When it descends, the effects are felt everywhere, from city streets to the quiet countryside. Take Manchester, for instance. On a typical November day, you might expect temperatures around 8 degrees Celsius, with the familiar drizzle that locals know all too well. People go about their routines, umbrellas in hand, navigating the damp pavements as buses splash through puddles. But when the polar vortex takes hold, everything changes. This week, instead of the usual gray drizzle, it's just 2 degrees. Sunny, yes, but the cold is biting. Icy winds whip down from the northeast, cutting through even the thickest coats and scarves. The city feels sharper, quieter, as people hurry along, faces turned away from the wind. Overnight puddles that were once just a nuisance freeze into slick sheets of ice, making every step treacherous. Your breath hangs in the air, swirling in the frigid morning light, a visible reminder of the cold's intensity. On the Kent or Suffolk coast, where the sea usually keeps things mild, the story is even more dramatic. A sudden blast of Siberian air can trigger what's known as sea effect snow. In just a few hours, towns like Margate can be buried under a thick, heavy blanket of snow, transforming the familiar seaside into a wintry wonderland, and sometimes a logistical nightmare. During these vortex-driven cold snaps, road salt struggles to keep up. Black ice forms quickly, turning roads into invisible hazards. Cars slide, emergency vehicles rush to accidents, and travel grinds to a halt. Even the best-prepared drivers find themselves at the mercy of the elements. Even a simple walk in the park is transformed. The ground is iron hard beneath your feet. Every blade of grass rimed with frost. Trees sparkle with icy crystals, and the air stings your lungs with every breath. The world feels quieter, as if holding its breath. Wildlife, too, must adapt. Birds fall silent, fluffing up their feathers and conserving precious energy in the deep freeze. Gardens that once echoed with birdsong become hushed, blanketed in snow and silence. The polar vortex can turn a familiar landscape into a harsh Arctic scene almost overnight. Streets, parks, and homes are suddenly unrecognizable, cloaked in white and battered by icy winds. It's a powerful reminder of how sudden and overwhelming these events can be. The weather can shift in a matter of hours, catching even seasoned locals off guard. When the vortex wobbles, the UK gets a true taste of the far north. Arctic air sweeps in, bringing with it the kind of cold and snow more often seen in Scandinavia or Siberia. That's the true force of the polar vortex in action. A dramatic, sometimes beautiful, but always formidable display of nature's power, capable of transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary in a single night. With severe cold on the way, preparation is key. Insulate exposed pipes with foam lagging to prevent freezing and costly bursts. Check your heating system. Get your boiler serviced and bleed radiators for efficiency. Consider a backup heater, and check on elderly neighbors to ensure they're warm. Seal drafts around windows and doors with foam strips or draft excluders. Close curtains at dusk to trap warmth and save on heating bills. Prepare a simple winter emergency kit: blankets, a torch, batteries, a radio, non-perishable food, bottled water, and a charged power bank. These small steps can make your home safer and more comfortable during a cold snap. Don't wait for the worst. Get ready now. A little preparation goes a long way when the polar vortex comes calling. Stay warm, stay safe, and help others do the same. The polar vortex isn't new to the UK. Remember the beast from the east in early 2018? A weakened vortex sent Siberian air sweeping across Europe, plunging the UK into a week of severe cold and heavy snow. Temperatures barely rose above freezing, and wind chills made it feel even colder. Red weather warnings were issued, schools closed, and transport ground to a halt. Supermarkets emptied as people stocked up, and vulnerable people were isolated by the conditions. It was a national emergency that tested our resilience. Events like 2018 remind us to take current warnings seriously and prepare. By learning from the past, we can face the next vortex event with confidence. Extreme cold is tough on wildlife, especially small birds. They need constant food to survive, but frozen ground and hidden insects make it hard. You can help by providing high-energy foods like fat balls, suet, and sunflower hearts in feeders. Keep feeders clean and topped up. Birds will return if they know food is there. Water is just as vital. Put out a shallow dish of fresh water and break the ice as needed. Don't add salt. Plain water is best. Hedgehogs and other mammals may struggle too. If you see a hedgehog out in the cold, offer meaty cat food and water. Badgers and foxes also benefit from extra food when the ground is frozen. Simple actions in your garden can help wildlife survive until spring. Let's keep our gardens full of life even in the harshest weather. As the polar vortex brings wild weather, safety comes first. Follow Met Office forecasts and heed warnings. Plan your day accordingly. If snow or ice is forecast, only travel if essential, and prepare your car with winter supplies. If you get stuck, stay with your vehicle and keep the exhaust clear. At home, wear layers, eat hot meals, and keep active to stay warm. Check on vulnerable neighbors. Your call could make all the difference. Walk carefully outside. Icy pavements can be treacherous, so wear shoes with good grip. Move slowly and deliberately to avoid falls. With preparation and community spirit, we can weather the cold safely. Stay informed, stay warm, and look out for each other.